Welcome to UP News. I'm your host, Wade Norris. We're here tonight with John Powers for the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
John, for our viewers out there, tell us what is the purpose of the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado? As the director and founder, how did you get involved with that, and what does it aim to do?
I think today's problems are so complex and far-reaching that everybody needs to be participating in making solutions. We can't have people picking at each other. Environmentalists need to work with business, and it's not just the environment. If we're going to have sustainability, which is what our organization is about, it's not from the political left or the political right. It's from the present looking forward.
Okay.
The decisions we make today have impacts on the future, and we need all points of expertise developing those solutions that not only make better solutions, but you could buy in on their implementation. And that's what our mission is, to facilitate multiple points of view coming up with workable solutions.
To an average Colorado citizen, what is sustainability?
Sustainable development is defined as providing for the needs of the present generation without handicapping the ability of future generations to provide for theirs.
Oh, so like instead of depleting or using energy reserves that we have now, if we were to do that in a way that would damage the streams long term, so people couldn't fish or hunt in Colorado's great wilderness, then that would be not sustainable.
Right.
In fact, and that's kind of the present course we've been on. With the new administration of the Ritter governorship coming to Colorado, his inauguration speech, he spoke quite at length about making Colorado a leader of renewable energy. Now, is renewable and sustainable in the same realm?
Yes.
Okay.
In the sense of a finite consumptive resource. You use something up, you use it once, it's gone. It means you're eliminating the opportunity for future generations to use the same resource. Trees regrow, that sort of thing, that's renewable. You're not using it all up at once.
I've always thought, in terms of religious values, do unto others as you'd have done unto you, and we always think of that in terms of day-to-day interaction, but we don't ever translate that into, gosh, I wish my grandparents had done something to prevent, this resource from being used up. Or another good example, we went to Yellowstone last summer, my family, and some of the pioneers that went out there and explored it talked about turning into a theme park early on, and fortunately some of the leaders of the party said, no, this is given by God to be a gift for all of the United States, all the world, and today Yellowstone is still a marvel of conservation and beauty. What I like to hear about yours is you're not strictly talking about parks and things that are shut off from development or things like that. You're talking about growing business in a way that is responsible to the society and to the environment.
Yes, we work with four sectors: nonprofit, business, government, and academia. The goal being to bring them together. The view you mentioned, your grandfather, it's like the Iroquois with the 7 generations.
Yeah.
And some people consider that 7 generations going forward. Actually, we are the 4th generation. There are 3 generations that came before us, and there are 3 generations following after us.
Oh.
So we inherit what came in the previous 3 generations, and it's up to us to see that we leave a good quality of life and good opportunity for future generations and 3 generations that follow after us. So yes, it's a continuum. It's not just a point in time. That's what sustainability. Sustainability looks forward long term on thinking where we came from, what we're doing, and where we're going. It's not just a moment in time where I get to use it all up.
And when did you start this idea of this alliance or this program?
I had the chance to see nonprofits making applications for getting grants on similar topics, and what kept surprising me is that they might not necessarily know about each other. So I got a chance to link them. I said, hey, do you know what they're doing over here? Well, that's good in the nonprofit realm. It was a start. And then I started to realize that it's not just nonprofit. You're not going to get complete solutions, societal, sustainable solutions, if it's only the nonprofit sector. It has to include the for-profit. So the Alliance for Sustainable Colorado's first project, in fact, was the Colorado Alliance of Sustainable Business Associations,
Okay.
CASBA. And our second project, where we are today, is the Alliance Center. The Alliance Center has 27 nonprofit tenants from multiplicity of sectors,
Mm-hmm.
typically all working on some aspect of sustainability, either directly or supporting each other, and developing policies and implementing practices of sustainability, which is where we, being 18 blocks from the state capitol, we support, and we have lobbyists and people from the legislature have come here for the tour to understand what sustainability is and getting people working together, thinking about the long term.
And with recent film developments with Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth and a real national, international look at, one of the best examples I think of is we have oil and gas or mining and mineral exploration companies denying constantly that there's any climate change going on, and then they meet up in the Arctic at one of these islands to plot out who's going to take which slice of the minerals under the Arctic once they know that it becomes ice-free, which their geologists have told them is going to happen fairly soon. So it is a type of conundrum where we have to really ask our citizens to invest in something that is sustainable and get them to buy into it and reject some of the talking points that it's, for lack of better terms, those kooky Boulder hippie guys that are trying to get us to hug trees. But no, it's not about that. It's about what are we doing for our future? What are we doing for the planet? What are we doing for business? And I have to tell you, when I drive up that 25 corridor up to from here to Sheridan, Wyoming, I could just see in my mind windmills and solar panels and all kinds of things that could make the oil and gas and coal not nearly as necessary as it is now. I don't want to take money out of their pockets, but obviously, if this is what you're working on, I'm sure that those industries have they been kind to your approach, or are they seen as a polemical opposite to the Alliance of Sustainable Colorado?
Our goal is enfolding. We have to work together, and you can't turn off the inflow of money to a fossil fuel company. I mean, it's dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
We have to invite them to come up with solutions, because they're going to run out of the material. They know it. And their problems are known to them now about the global warming. They know it.
Yeah.
So we have to invite them in participating in the solution. And I mean, it's essential. We're not going to succeed unless we have that wisdom, that expertise from all points, whether it's the sort of the theoretical philosophies that are developed by nonprofits, whether it's the practical business experience that business has, it's whether government turns those two sets of ideas into good policy, and then academia teaches it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. I mean, the scale of problems we have with 6.7 billion people on the earth, we're living in a finite environment, and there's no evidence at the moment. I mean, population is slowing down, but carrying capacity, and we're bursting at the seams, and
Yeah.
there's just not going to be anything left for future generations. People have to start thinking about the consequences of what they do today, long term, not the corporate business cycle, not the election cycle, not even in our lifetimes. Maybe
Okay.
not even in the lifetimes of our children or grandchildren.
200 years from now.
Exactly.
The way we talk about the founding fathers, they may be talking about what we did to either stop a calamity, or what great things they did to preserve the treasures of what we consider the best parts of the planet.
Consider this. Is there going to be around in 200 years to have that discussion?
Well, let's hope so.
Right, but I'm saying that it's the possibility, if one extrapolates from the scientific evidence, if we don't respond to that challenge in a way that addresses correcting it, not adapting to it, but correcting it. You can't build seawalls high enough around New Orleans to prevent it from going underwater. That's an adaptation. You have to stop it at the source, stop it at the cause, and people have to reflect and recognize what true values are. Preserving the ability of the planet to sustain life, the biological systems that make life possible. Creation, if you're going back to your moral or your religious base. Creation was given to us as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And we could potentially make ourselves a failed experiment.
Mm-hmm.